Lesson 10.3, solving by graphing. Let's review a little bit. How would you factor and solve x squared minus 2x equals 3? Well, hopefully you remember you want to move the 3 over. Always set it equal to 0. Parentheses, x minus x plus. Only thing multiplies up is 3 and 1, so I hope that works. Negative 3 times 1, negative 3, negative 3 plus 1, negative 2. And then solve x equals 3, x equals negative 1. If you don't remember that, I hope you do sooner rather than later. Now, let's graph it. And that's what we've been doing. Move the 3 over. X squared minus 2x minus 3 equals 0. X equals negative b over 2a to find the axis of symmetry. X equals 1. So we go down at 1. Then we plug it back in to find the vertex. 1 squared minus 2 times 1 minus 3 is negative 1 minus 3 is negative 4. It's down negative 4. And we're going to graph it up. It's going to hit at negative 3. There it is. So, the question I ask is, what do these mean? When we solve it, we get x equals 3 and x equals negative 1. And for that, I would strongly suggest you look at this and this. These solutions are where the graph hits the x-axis, which makes sense because what we actually graphed was y equals x squared minus 2x minus 3, and we took the y and we set it equal to 0. And when y equals 0, we're on the x-axis. This takes some time to make sense. So think about it a little bit. We'll give you lots of practice. But remember, graphing and solving is finding the x-intercepts, where it hits the x-axis. We call them x-intercepts. We call them zeros. And mostly we call them roots. Why roots? I have no idea. Just call them the roots. I think it's short for square roots, which will come up in the next few lessons down the pike. So that's it. I want you to understand that when you solve by factoring or some other method, it's the same thing as graphing and seeing where it hits the x-axis. The textbook says, hey, graph it and then just pick the roots off the graph. That's crazy. It's totally nuts. There's no way. So, first things first, here's what I would do given these problems. They give me x squared equals 6x minus 5. Write it as y equals. And that's what I would have to do to bring it over. Find the axis of symmetry and vertex. Plug it back in. Start to graph it. I'm going to put it out here so I can use all the space. Axis of symmetry, 3. vertex, -4. My equation is x squared minus 6x plus 5. Just going to hit it 5 all the way up here. And now the question is, where does it hit? On the x-axis. We could have drawn that graph anywhere. I mean, we could sit there and pick out points and do that, but that takes forever. If it looks like it's going to hit, factor it. Which I had obviously done in my head because it hits here at x equals 1, x equals 5. So I knew what I was doing. There it is. So that's it. That's what I want you to do. Graph it. You might graph it and find out it's above the graph. Then don't bother factoring. There's no roots. There's no solutions. Here's some examples. Come out to 3, 1, hits at 8. Here, it's going to hit. Let's factor it. Kind of out of space, so I'll do it down here. X minus 4, x minus 2, x equals 4, x equals 2. It's going to hit here and here. Try this one. Did that in my head. Probably want to use a calculator. And I go to my axis of symmetry, -1/2. I go to 3/4, right about here. It's positive out front, so it's going up. It's going to hit here at 1. It's not going to hit the x-axis. So I'm just going to write out here, no roots. Don't have to bother factoring. It's not going to hit. There's no roots. This one, there we go. Axis of symmetry out here at 3. Vertex at 0. Hits up here at 9. Goes up. I don't have to do anything else. I can already see it hits right there. So the root is at x equals 3. There's only one of them. Back to problem 1 here. Those are the roots. So we've got 3 cases here. 3 very clear cases. 2 roots. No roots. Or 1 root. And don't get confused. Just look at the graph. Use what you know about graphing, axis of symmetry, vertex, intercepts, and then if necessary, factoring, and figure it out. So, that's it. Let me give you one more to try. Find the zeros. I'm going to do my work over here. So, 1, 2, 3. Off the charts, negative 16. Right about here. Hits at negative 7. Go over 3, should be right about there. Okay, it looks like it's going to go up and hit. Let's find out where. Negative 7 and 1. So here and here. Looks good. 2 solutions, 2 roots. Confusing stuff. Another nice way to get yourself on track is to use your calculator to check your work, not to do your work. Good luck.